Well, we've seen this before. Middle Eastern countries, terrorist insurgents, posters written in Arabic. The only thing more predictable than military-themed shooters is the packaging they're sold in. You won't find a box that doesn't shoot off marketing words like realistic and authentic as rapidly as an AK-47 fires bullets, because that box doesn't exist. In every aspect of their aforementioned unoriginality, this military-themed shooter is more the same. The only difference is that Marines' modern urban combat is even more realistic. Unlike games that glamorize and dramatize it into some kind of heart-touching Tom Hanks movie, this one has a more sincere perspective on war, one eloquently stated in the iconic words of Union General and Civil War legend General William Sherman. War is hell. Indeed, you're right, General Sherman, and this is the only video game ever to faithfully convey that unadorned truth. War is hell, and so is Marines' modern urban combat. Released in early 2010 for the Nintendo Wii, Marines' modern urban combat is an unoriginal first-person shooter, as well as an attempt to turn a profit from those gullible enough to see modern and combat in the subtitle and think modern warfare. Don't be duped, soldier. This game isn't even a fraction as good. You play Marines as an American soldier sent into the streets of Beirut, where the people are in a frenzy and, terrorists are terrorizing. Armed with courage and the Wii remote, it's your job to take them down and restore peace to the cradle of civilization. I know, that sounded like genuine marketing spiel, right? That's how easy their job is. Making a game this bad sound badass isn't very difficult, surprisingly, but even knowing where to begin when being honest about how exceptionally deplorable this game is. I mean, the game design itself is just instantly forgettable. The levels, the themes, the gameplay, it's all been done before, and it's all been done better. But being generic and stale is the least of this game's problems. If Marines were at least playable on a functional level, it might have been a decent, if grossly uninspired, first-person shooter. But this game isn't playable, and there are a myriad of reasons why. Now, some of those reasons are technical, first and foremost being the frame rate. The screen almost constantly stutters, and especially for a first-person shooter, that's a big problem. There's also persistent screen tearing as well, and these problems are more than just aesthetic inconveniences. In fact, they're so pervasive in Marines, they actually impede upon your ability to effectively play the game.
Gladiator 2, we are working.
Of course, there are also problems with the game's design. As I've said, Marines is a blatantly unoriginal game, but it doesn't even copy well. For the most part, the levels are comprised of mostly barren streets. Everything is empty, and for a city supposedly in a state of chaos, you'd expect to be more people around. Instead, you're in these vacant town squares that are just suddenly flooded by terrorists at specific moments, which is, that's a pretty organized form of chaos. Perhaps an even bigger issue for shooter fans, however, there's no competitive multiplayer in Marines. In fact, its only multiplayer of any kind is a kind of piggyback mode. One player plays the game like a standard first-person shooter, while player 2 rides on his back, essentially playing the game like an on-rails shooter. Now, as a complement to more robust multiplayer modes, this might have been a neat diversion, but as the sole component, it's almost laughable. And to be blunt, so is the game itself. War is hell, and in a grenade canister full of military shooters, Marines' modern urban combat is the dud at the bottom of the box.
Gladiator 2.